Welcome to Stories That Matter. I'm your host, Doug Thompson, with my special guest, Laura Johnson of the Johnson Strings. And Laura, thank you so much for taking time to visit with us.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to today.
Well, we're going to enjoy it, and I was just telling my staff that the song that we end with is going to be the one you guys did, In the Garden, and absolutely beautiful. I don't think I've heard that. I've heard it 1,000 times because it's one of our favorites. It's my favorite, and you guys just did a fantastic job. We've been so impressed, Laura, with your family, and fill us in on it. Tell me about Johnson Strings.
So we are a family. We toured the U.S., the whole U.S. for 10 years before coming to Branson. We've had so much fun growing up together. I guess if I start back where it all began, our mom and dad wanted something we could do together as a family. Something where rather than running off to all the different sports on the same Saturday, they couldn't see having 6 of us in 6 different sports. It would be crazy for them. So they decided music was a good idea. They had no idea that we'd end up performing on stage in Branson. But they put us in the Suzuki school. I was 6 and my sister Karen was 5. And it was going so well that they just kept on adding people in, younger and younger, 5, 4, 3 years old, until all of us were performing together. And then the requests started rolling in to perform all over the US, all over different places. It grew bigger and bigger until it was like, okay, we keep getting asked to come to Branson. Maybe we should really consider that. So we came to Branson in 2017.
That's absolutely amazing. Were your parents musicians too?
Our parents were not musicians, but our mom had played piano and saxophone and choir, but she learned right along with all of us so that then every day she could practice with each one of us individually to help us remember what the teacher said. Because if you're 4, 5, 6 years old, you can't remember what the professors and doctors said to do. And so she was a huge help on that. And then Dad started bass when he was 44.
Wow. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. I just have to chuckle at that because I can see these little kids growing up. Come on, we're going to perform at a church now this Sunday, and here's this little herd getting up on the stage, and they just keep growing and more comfortable at it. Did you guys take to it immediately? I mean, did you love it? Like, I don't want to go out on stage. Look at all those people, Mom. I don't want to go out there. Did you have that problem, or is it just, sure, of course we'll do it?
It depended on how early you started. The older we were to start, the more nerves we had in the beginning. But Silas, he was the youngest. He was listening to music from before he was born. So he was the youngest one in our family. He was 3 when he started. So he'd be sitting off to the side beside Mom's piano, playing with toys on a blanket. And then it was when his time to perform, he'd come up on stage, sit down, play his songs. He's been a natural since the beginning. Oh, I gotta tell you too, when it would get to be late night, and as kids, sometimes you get tired, but adults love to have their evening entertainment, and we were it. And so they got such a kick out of Silas. Some of the time he had trouble staying awake past his bedtime. So he fell asleep when we were performing one time and fell backwards off of his cello bench and hit the floor. He woke up and then he was a little embarrassed as a 4-year-old, got back up on the chair, and then he had a trouble staying awake, but people in the audience took enough splash pictures to startle him awake.
Oh my goodness. Where were you performing at when that happened?
It was some sort of big party. I don't remember what party it was, but it was on a stage that was big enough to make a little bit of a racket when Silas tipped over.
Well, of course, he was only 4. Tell me the range of age on the family from youngest to the oldest.
There's a 10-year span. So I'm the oldest. I'm 29. Down to Silas is 18 years old. So this is now our career, and we love doing it. All of us have different jobs in the business, and it keeps it interesting.
Wow. Wow. So you're doing, did you tell me three shows or 3 days anyway, a week?
Yes, we have shows on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 2 o'clock at the Americana Theater. And when we're there, we can get into some of the fun production elements. My brother Luke is really fun in the lighting realm and the special effects. He gets things going in that category. As you were asking me earlier, I love doing the video elements. So I do our cinematography, our music videos, all of our social stuff. We have a music arranger. That one's Abigail. And so she arranges every single note that you hear us play. She has her computer program and she'll be inputting in any notes on any of our 20 different instruments that we're playing during the show.
Wow. Wow. Are your parents performing with you?
Our parents are touring the world right now. They retired from the show, let us loose on stage to do all sorts of fun stuff. But I'd say they do make it home quite often to come see us perform, and the audience loves to meet them.
Oh, I'm sure they do. We saw some video. My brother and I were watching here a while back, and you had some video with the trains. Fill me in on about that.
Oh, I love model trains. I love historic railroads, and I love music videos. And so I had always wanted to do a combination where it combines music, miniature people, because that's just cool, model railroads and real life railroads and some of that history. And so I looked all over the place, hours around, surrounding states, and I found this place in Springfield. It's the Ozarks Model Railroad Association, and it's a group of guys that have spent decades building this incredibly detailed, tiny scale model railroad, and it is huge. They have like 30 locomotives, 450 cars, tons of feet of track, and they have built this thing where they have I don't know how to describe it. They've painted these details. They're describing to us how many hours it takes them to get the antiquing on the houses to look right, building the bridges, the trestles, and then these trains run throughout the entire panoramic view around the corners. And it's a real life train set. They have the real towns that they're going through. They've reproduced all of those. And then they have the actual train lines. So they set up the trains so they have real jobs to do. It's incredible.
So how did you guys interact with that, the model trains? How did you do that so that it looks like you're at you're dealing with big trains and you're right by the depot and all those things? How'd you do all that?
Okay, so I set up some green screens actually in our house. We have a living room with a high vaulted ceiling, and that came in very useful because in order to get the perspectives right for those model trains, I had different screenshots of the model train footage that I was wanting to match, the lighting, the angles. And then in our living room with a giant green screen, I filmed those sections and then made sure to match it up with the footage that I shot with those guys over at the railroad. It was quite the project, but it was worth it.
You know, you did an awesome job. We, of course, being in the industry, we knew what and how you had done it, but it was really, really well done. It was really a good job. Are there any little Johnson strings coming up yet that are going to be the 4-year-old setting off to the side ready to come out and start playing? Or are there any of your siblings or you have kids yet?
Not yet. There's some boyfriends in the picture, so could be. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, well, it's going to be pretty neat when you guys have your own little ones because they will have been then growing up around this. So it's going to be completely natural. I can be laying over on the rug resting, and then it's my turn, and I run on stage and I start playing, and Mom lets me go back and lay down again. That's going to be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, when everyone else is doing it, the little ones, they always want to do it right along with you. Growing up as siblings, who wants to be the one sibling that's left out? Yeah. Nobody does.
You know, oftentimes on the show, Stories That Matter, I ask people, I say, well, who invested? Who invested in you that gave you the opportunity to do what you are doing? But I already know the answer. It was your parents, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, they did all sorts of amazing things to incentivize us to keep it fun. Because I guess to give you a little background, Dad had actually played a little bit of piano back in high school and actually middle school, and he had hated it. He quit as soon as he could. He was never going to play music again. It was just practice, 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 and no fun whatsoever. And so then with us, he was like, I want it to be different. I want them to enjoy it, have fun with it. So he and Mom had 100-day practice challenges where we would practice every day in a row for 100 days, and then there'd be a reward at the end. Or we'd have special graduations where we'd finish an entire book of music, learn all the songs in that book, and then we could either go out for ice cream together as a family, or go ice skating, or group together and go downhill skiing. Or on the performance tours, we'd try to stay at a hotel with a pool, or hit a museum on the way. Things to add spice and enjoyment and have a reward along with all the work that it took to get there.
Man, Laura, that story is just so amazing. That tells me volumes, because I've watched you guys from the time you got to Branson, and actually probably before, and I just said, man, this is a really talented family and a young family. How'd all this happen? Well, now we know. And we're going to put information up on the screen so that your fans can go to your website, take a look at it. We're going to finish this interview with the song that you guys did in the garden, because it is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for all the good work. Are you staying in Branson, or do you plan to head out on the road some?
We're staying in Branson. We love our theater, and we have some special stuff that we can only do in the theater. You guys will want to come check it out. We do a wide variety of music, all sorts of genres, from movie hits, theme songs, pop songs, country, bluegrass, some gospel, some popular hits. Oh, it's a great fun.
I already know that. Some of it I knew that, because you guys are just a fantastic group. And what a plus you are, and an advantage for Branson. That's awesome. So happy that you're there.
We are glad to be here too. There's so much to do in this town. It is an amazing vacation spot and an even better place to live.
Yeah, it is. It's a great spot. We've always enjoyed all of our time there. We have some condos down there, and so we've always enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing you guys soon. Tell the rest of the family we said hey.
I will do that. Thank you
All right.
so much.
All right, you take care. Thanks for taking time to visit with me, Laura.
Thank you, Doug.
Is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of His voice is so sweet. The birds hush their singing.